Welcome to Hemp Foundation Talks, where we listen to the heartbeats of the hemp industry and learn the celebrations, challenges, and discoveries from hemp leaders and advocates from around the world. I'm Rebecca, International Business Officer with Hemp Foundation, and your host. Today's guest is Shipepe Heita. Shipepe is from Namibia, land of the brave and the sophisticated rough diamond, in which I would say also embodies his character. Shipepe is a young entrepreneur and hemp advocate at the age of 28 and has already made such great progress. He has a Bachelor in Commerce and Finance, specializing in risk management from the Independent Institute of Education. He is co-chair of Cannabis and Hemp Association of Namibia, CHAN. Shipepe's corporate experience includes sales, brand activation, business development and consulting services. He is certified in project management, business analysis, and collaboration. CHAN, Cannabis and Hemp Institute of Namibia, is a central hub of expertise and a safe space for all things cannabis and hemp. The platform is committed to the full realization of the plant, with comprehensive legalization in Namibia being the ultimate aim. Their mission statement highlights and emphasizes regulation, education, and advocacy. Shipepe's foundation for meaning and personal MO entails a simple mantra: serve and inspire. A natural curiosity in seeking solutions and a strong belief in Namibia's economic potential. Strikes synergy for his perpetual passion for defying the odds. Additionally, he finds natural sequence, regenerative farming, and other climate-smart agriculture phenomena as captivating solutions to his homeland. And I think we might have lost him.
Are we back?
Yeah. All right, welcome, Shipepe. I'm so glad to have you on the show. So please tell me a little bit more about your background and why you got into the hemp industry.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, Rebecca. Like I say again, it's a huge honor to come on your platform, and especially considering what you guys are, or what your initiatives are and what you're trying to accomplish. It's a very interesting. It feels like yesterday, actually, when I was just leaving or trying to figure out what I wanted to do next after having left my last job. I sort of wanted to, I got to that period where I wanted to find something I'm more passionate about, something more hands-on that related to my character and how I view life. And I would say not maybe 3 months into being unemployed, I stumbled across industrial hemp and its research, and obviously having dabbled with some CBD products here and there, but it almost struck me like a light bulb in my brain, or some lightning just hitting you, that this industrial hemp could be something that I could do for the rest of my life, and I could. Okay, so I would probably rewind back to about 2018. Probably 5 years into working in the corporate world, just after graduating, and the whole glitz and glamour of working is kind of died down. So I sort of try to find greener or newer pastures, so to speak. So I was sort of looking for something I was more passionate about, and something that related more to my own character and how I view the world. So I think I would date the moment back to when I was in Cape Town, probably just having dangled with a few CBD products and having done research on hemp. Then it almost struck me like a lightning bolt, or like a light bulb going off in the brain, that this seems to be something that I could work with, and it has so many different aspects. I definitely find something that suits me, that fits me, that I could write out probably for the rest of my life, and more importantly also pass over to the next generation, where they could maybe say thank you or something like that.
Right. So you have a background a little bit with your family being on a farm?
Yes. So my parents, they've retired obviously a couple of years ago. So this has been their retirement plan. So obviously having come visit them and just realizing the power of nature and being around animals and not the hustle and bustle of the city life all the time, really relieved a lot of stress at the time, at that particular juncture I was going through in life. So yeah, it all just came together, like I say, like a light bulb going off, where it's all things in one. It's something that defies all odds in terms of obviously changing legislation here. So that's the challenging part of how I see him, and just also I think the added benefit of having people get over the stigma and educating in terms of just having people realize like, oh, this thing is not as bad as we thought.
Right.
Yeah.
So, how did you get started with Chan, the organization that you are in right now, and tell me a little bit more about, what is your guys' mission and what is the current successes or challenges that you have right now in the organization?
Yeah, so that was actually just probably right in the middle of, or right at the beginning of COVID, actually, like 2020, I'd say probably March, April. I happened to contact the founder of the association, who's based in London. So she was already busy advocating, doing her own advocating, but she was more advocating along with like the Rastafarians and more for religious purposes and medicinal purposes. So when I found her on the sort of the Chan train, there was no real online platform. There was no real presence in terms of getting education out on cannabis and hemp. So once I joined, I sort of maybe perhaps given her a little bit of new motivation, where she's like, okay, let's do website, let's get the company registered, let's try to get a bank account and whatnot. So I would say I just assisted in fast tracking that process, and that's sort of how I got in. And then also all right.
Awesome. So it's great to hear of like the initiative that you took in expanding this organization in Nambia. I'm sure that it's very important, especially for the people there. And and maybe you can tell me a little bit more about the progress that you guys have made as far as your mission and emphasizing, regulation and the connections that you're making in the community, and then education and how you're the strategy of advocating in that area and bringing the community together.
Okay. No, that's a great question, actually. So with regards to what interested me in the founder and how she was tackling the issues, I actually she was actually busy with an initiative of providing some healing products, obviously some CBD based products, and she was going to rural farms and just rural settlements and helping people, obviously with seizures and older people with like pains and ailments and whatnot. So she's definitely she sparked that whole healing. Yeah, no. So just on the ground, we have been educating people via just the obviously the websites and radio. The initiative has obviously gotten a lot of connections to the local stakeholders, the government, Fourth Industrial Revolution Task Force that's been appointed now. So in terms of the local connections that we have to obviously try to push the legislation, I think we have that intact. but I think we have so much more to do in terms of hands-on work with the people. Obviously, COVID didn't help us in terms of having to type people and be in contact with. But before that, that was initially our mission to definitely go into, how would I say, rural settlements or just deserted areas where people don't have close access to hospitals or clinics or whatnot. I think those are definitely our targeted areas where we can provide them an alternative way by, in terms of not getting pills, they can perhaps try the CBD option or a hemp-based option.
That's amazing. So the initial, what I'm hearing is the initial purpose was to really just help these people in the rural communities that didn't have access to healthcare and things like that through the plant and the many benefits of it. So now you're also growing to look into how you can help even bring more of an economy to Namibia through the plant as well, right? And utilizing it for other sources besides just the medical purposes. So tell me more about that initiative, and what are some of the challenges that you guys are having with promoting hemp on a larger scale?
Yeah, I think what you spoke about was mainly just, I think, our strategy of trying to get from the bottom of the people that least informed to the people that already have the information and perhaps are ignoring it. So I think the best way, the strategy that we've used is to try to get low income, because once we get the low income on board, it's the vast majority of Namibians, which is unfortunate. But once we get them, I think eventually, from our perspective, I think our government has to listen. And in terms of challenges, the normal global stigma that's going around of the demonized plant and whatnot. But I would say specific to Namibia, it's very in favor of its alcohol. So it's another huge competitor that I don't think the higher ups really want it to be contested, or perhaps there's another perspective of yeah, they maybe they just don't want to follow the West. But I've heard that so often where yeah, no, we're in Namibia, we don't want to follow the West. But yeah, it's a lot of jibber jabber, because the way I see it now, and the information that I've gone through, regulating cannabis is actually much safer, because number one, and most importantly, you get better product, you get better quality, at least CBD, in terms of people not doing it illegally and having to just not adding value to their products. So it's definitely a beneficial. It's a beneficial thing for the government to look at, because number one, they can't stop it coming into the country, and they haven't really done a very good job of regulating what's being grown in the country, in terms of just the knowledge I have of how many people I have grown or are growing. All right.
So
this information I actually got from my partner. So this information I actually got from my associate and partner, where she was actually doing an interview herself with another cannabis advocate. But she actually notified the government about South African retailers based here in Namibia being able to sell their CBD-based products with impunity. There's no licensing. There's no hard bureaucracy on that. So it's something that they should definitely look at, because if it's being sold in our major supermarkets, so to speak, and yeah, and you're not regulating that, what is it to say that doesn't that call for more time for regulation?
Mm-hmm. So what is the percentage of like farmers in that area right now? What does it look like? And are they looking forward to growing hemp? Are there, you know, farmers out there that are really that are getting educated and wanting to get into the marketplace with hemp?
Most of, at least in the industrial areas, I can only speak for the industrial areas where we're based. It's quite low in terms of getting in contact with them and setting up seminars. It's been very difficult. Honestly, we've been very short budgeted for a long time. So setting things up where we're able to educate maybe a group of 10 or 20 farmers, that would be the ideal situation. But till as of now, our farmer correspondence is very low, so we don't really know farmers are looking to grow, or which angle we'd actually have to tackle to get them to do that. But from my perspective, I don't see that as a crisis issue, because there are farmers that want to grow certain crops. Say, for instance, mushrooms are very highly regulated here in Namibia, and I've already known of 2 farmers that wanted to do mushrooms, edible like to eat, but yeah, it hasn't happened. So they are informed farmers that, especially young ones, let me say maybe the next generation, that I've been in contact with, probably have gone to school with, that are definitely interested. So it would just be the barrier of getting it, perhaps maybe to your parents, or if it's your farm, just getting a license.
Right. So what is your vision? What do you hope to see Namibia step into as far as into hemp and growing that area? What do you envision for the economy in Namibia, and how hemp can?
I completely believe we have one of the greatest potentials for that plant. And whether the land is arable enough to grow or not, it's not really a problem. In this day and age, there are regenerative agricultural practices, or like I said in my bio, natural sequence, where we can actually recover destroyed land, or probably land that was mined on before, where we can sort of get plantations growing there. So I see a lot of potential in that. In terms of the soil differentiations we have, being very sub-Saharan desert like in the south, and then a little bit more tropical north in Namibia. We can do a lot of different products from the hemp plants, depending on where we've planted. So I think doing seed variety trials could be a start. That was definitely one of the visions I wanted to project the government for. How do I say it? It's a pilot project for seed variety trials, to just see what would grow best where and for what. The ultimate vision is specifically not to allow this legislation to only benefit the higher ups. I think that is something that's deeply close to me, whereby I don't want to see it as another industry only where the top 10% of the people in the country are.
Shipepe, that's very important. I think that's very important, and a broader picture of things in our world, and very noble cause. That's something that we're very passionate about too at the Hemp Foundation, is helping to build up these marginalized communities, and how can we bring education and help bring more of a balance, into our world through our environment and through our communities, and uplift those people, and give them hope. And I think the hemp is that plant that can really give a lot of people hope, and a lot of farmers to get back to the land and heal our earth in a sense, right? Because there's so much potential that we can do with that plant. Not only the experiences that you guys have already seen and how it's healed people with, seizures, and it's helped in many different areas like that. So I commend you, and thank you for all of the sacrifices that you've been making already, and the work that you've been doing. And we hope for much more progress to come, and to keep in touch, and just thank you for the work that you're doing. If you have any last words that you want to say, or any inspiration to a community of entrepreneurs or other advocates in the hemp space.
Yes, I actually do. So I think, especially with pioneers and advocates and entrepreneurs within the space, I think they can relate a lot to the plant that's been demonized and gone through persecution. And yeah, here we are today. In the better parts of the world, it's seeing the light of day. It's seeing how it's being shown to flourish and to show its true colors, having been hidden from things for so long. So I think they should take that as words of, just something that should motivate them to follow the same suit, that eventually you'll get your moment. You can't hide greatness solo for too long, pretty much.
Yes, thank you, Shipepe. I appreciate the work and the sacrifices.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Hemp Foundation Talks. Hemp Foundation is a non-profit social enterprise on a mission to provide solutions for our current ecological crisis. Hemp Foundation and their brand Uki has created a value chain from village farms to the marketplace, utilizing the many benefits of hemp to overcome deforestation, fight plastic pollution, and support regenerative practices to heal our earth. The foundation supports over 250 small village farmers in the Indian Himalayan region. In addition, they employ widows and women in the production of over 500 hemp products for the marketplace, from clothing to food to hemp bags, a large range of textiles, embroidered fabrics, home goods, and even hemp bioplastic. To learn more, visit hempfoundation.net.